Well, welcome everybody to another edition of the Collin County Republican Men's Club, our March meeting. So to begin our call to order, let's start with the salutes of the things that we hold most dear So Bobby, could you lead us in the U.S. flag salute?
Everyone please stand and salute the best flag in the country of the world. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Charles, could you lead us in the Texas flag?
Yes.
Texas state flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and do the invocation tonight. It's usually a general prayer for all that are here. Obviously, that's very important. I'm going to do something a little different tonight. This is from Philippians. So if you'll join me, please. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for our leaders. We are now praying for leadership guidance. Let every leader endeavor to look out for the interests of others rather than their own. I hope that you would use your divine knowledge and discernment to assist our leaders in identifying the needs of your people. Lord, assist them to be successful leaders who will work for the advancement of your kingdom. Amen. Amen. As we all know, CCRMC is where men and women join together, learn together, and work together. For the Republican Party, by promoting our goals and principles. We are most noted for our monthly meetings and keynote speakers, which we'll have one tonight, of course. We've had Texas-based, non-Texas-based politicians, global diplomats, distinguished scholars, other thought leaders, public servants. We've had discussions on immigration, terrorism, our foreign competitors. Last month, we had a presentation on Republican Party expansion. And tonight is no different. We have a great speaker on the duties and responsibilities of the Constable's Office. And he'll be up here in a minute to perform his presentation. But first, some club and political business. First, wanted to recognize any guests, new members. Charles?
Yep, if you're a guest, go ahead and raise your hand for us. We'll welcome you in. Appreciate y'all. Just a reminder, dues, if y'all want to pay your 2024 dues or join, come talk to me. We can double check if you've paid, or if you want to join, we can get you some information.
If we, obviously we hope you find the meetings very useful, and as Charles said, we hope that you'll continue to support CCRMC and find these meetings worthwhile. The usual quick thanks to President-elect J.J. Miller, who stridently makes the travel to Rudy's and brings these great snacks for us. Thank you very much.
JJ, you want the
possibly
highway,
yeah.
So it's I don't go that far out of my way.
But you're quite possibly the most important person in the room. No offense. As far as the events out and about, the political events and holiday events that could be coming up, there's no news on the Plano 4th of July parade. I've asked twice. They're not sure we're going to have it. I hope we do, because we usually lead the parade and hand out thousands of flags. This weekend is the Senate District Convention for Senate District 2, 8, and 30, taking place at Collin College, Plano campus, 2800 Spring Creek. Registration starts at 8. If you want to attend the Texas State Republican Convention, you should have attended the precinct convention that was on March 9th, and then you attend this week's convention. But I think Texas is very forgiving, and I think there's a way that you can also apply and still go to the Texas State Convention. It's going to be on May 23rd through 25th in San Antonio. It's a great time. I've gone, I think, every convention I was able to with my son. We had a great time. Last time he discovered the Young Republicans group, and once he was hooked into that group, I didn't see him for a while. And he had on the last night there, I think he said, "You know, Dad, there's a party for the Young Republicans. I'd like to go." "Yeah, sure, it'd be great. You think I can go?" I think it's just for Young Republicans. But that's fine. That's fine with me. Regarding the current political calendar, no doubt you've seen the results of our primary election. And I wanted to just summarize briefly and say I could use a little help with my design of slides. But anyway, thank you. So this is the primary election winners. You've selected these candidates. They are your public servants. And now's the time to unify around them in November. It's really critical. Obviously, elections can get very difficult on all sides, but now's the time to really unify. These are the candidates that you selected, and we have a runoff in May. So please make an informed decision, because your country, your state, and your county are really depending on it. Every cycle seems to be, this is the most important election in our lifetimes. This is going to be no different. Leave that up. So we can hear from any of the runoff candidates here tonight at the end of the evening when we do our parade of politicians. So looking forward to that. Right now I want to introduce our keynote speaker, Mark Myers.
Actually, I'm not the keynote speaker, but I'm the vice president of programs, so I will be introducing our keynote speaker. So, some of you know that I'm an attorney. Don't hold that against me. But I must say that in my legal career, my distinguished legal career, I didn't know all that much about the constable's office. Maybe that's because principally I've been a business and corporate attorney. You know, I know we've got police, we've got the sheriff's office, we've got justices of peace, and we've got the constable's office. But luckily tonight we have someone who is going to clear things up for us about what exactly the constable's office does. What are the duties of the constable's office? Do the duties of the constable's office overlap with other agencies? And our speaker tonight is Constable Sammy Knapp. Sammy has served over 45 years in law enforcement and is currently serving his third term as elected Constable Precinct 3 in Collin County. Sammy has lived in Collin County since 1980. He has over 7,400 Texas Commission on Law Enforcement training hours, Master Police Officer Certificate, and Instructor Certificate. Past experience includes solo motorcycle instructor, senior negotiator, commercial motor vehicle inspector with hazmat and cargo experience, currently serving as Justices of the Peace and Constables District 9 Director, covering 34 counties from Ellis County to the eastern border of Texas and surrounding counties. He's also the past president of the NTJPCA, National Association of Constables. Sammy retired from the Plano Police Department after 29 years and also served with the DFW Airport, Department of Public Safety, the Grand Prairie Police Department. But most importantly, I can assure you, to Sammy, more than anything else, is his 5 wonderful grandkids, and has just added another great-grandchild, which brings the total to 9. Sammy's been happily married to Kathy Knapp for 41 years and attends Prestonwood Baptist Church. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Constable Sammy Knapp.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to do today is it's going to be about 30-minute presentation to where we let you know what we do. We always hear, what is a constable? Can you write me a ticket? Can you put me in jail? And the answer to all of that is yes. The history of the constable goes back, as you can see here, as far back as the 600s. The constable was the oldest law enforcement in the world. They were back in the 600s. They were the Eastern Roman. The staboli is a Latin term that means stables. And back then, we were the caretakers of the stables for the king, and therefore that we were, I say we, they were, they very bestowed occupation back then, and they still are. And it goes all the way back to the Magna Carta. This is the history of, in England, back in the 6th century, and the King William Conqueror of 1066, we were the peacemakers. For him, the constable's responsibility of the Magna Carta that were described 12 times, I believe. There's 63 articles of Magna Carta. And the constable, the bailiff, which we do, and the sheriff were mentioned about 12 or 13 times in that status. In 1825, the constable was assigned the duties to prevent the issues of the roadways. There was no roadways, it had to be the wagon trails. In America, the first constable was appointed to Plymouth Colony in 1632. The leading official was the Justice of the Peace, which we still have today. They're considered the people's court. The constables enforced the orders of the colonial and county officials in both civil and criminal matters, even back then. And today, there's only 23 states that have constables that are doing this service. The next photo was one of the first, back in the England days, they were serving a warrant. It's a blurry picture, but I had to dig to find it. But the second guy behind him got the handcuffs, and they were fixing to take that young person away. So we've been around law enforcement for Texas, contrary to the belief that the sheriff was the first law enforcement. We were here before the sheriff. We were here in 1823. We were appointed, Stephen F. Austin Colony appointed Tomlinson as the first one, and I believe it was March 23rd of 1823. We just had our 200-year anniversary. The judge appointed another one, which made a total of 10. Then they had appointed some more. There was about 10 to 20 of them, and they were sent out to do the justice, just to keep the peace in the country. And they were supposed to go across the range. So therefore, the very beginning of the Texas Rangers was also with the constable's office. There's been several prominent Texas officers in the 19th to 20th century that have been constables or deputy constables. One of them is Seguin, down around Austin, San Antonio, that county, city down there. The John Selman and the John Wesley Hardin, if you guys are from Texas and lawyers, there's a lawyer in town called John Wesley Hardin, and he was married to Jerry Kunkel's daughter. John Selman, or his Mitch Selman, was a deputy chief with the Collin County Sheriff's Office. So it's really weird that it's a small world that these folks are still involved in. This is a picture of the old Texas Rangers, some of the constables that went out back then and did their thing out in the world. This is saying that the Constitution of the Republic of Texas provided the election of each county for sheriff and sufficient numbers of constables. I'll say it right now that we only have 4. Some of the other counties, like Tarrant County, Dallas, Bear, they have 7 to 8 precincts. So because of their population, we only have 4. Shortly after Texas became a state, they were specifically the conservators of the peace throughout the county. And the current Constitution, under Article 5, Section 18, is where we're constitutionally a law enforcement officer. And today, there are approximately 780. There's 254 counties. Some have just 2, some have 7 or 8. So those that have the 780 they're all over the state there. You can't really see that, but all the counties, some counties only have one that does all the whole, and some of them have to work a part-time job because they don't get paid about $15,000, $16,000 a year to do their work. Are you a police officer? Yes, we are. This is the Article 2.12 of the Code of Criminal Procedure that tells us that we're certified officers. As you see, the sheriff is number one, and number two is the constables and their deputy constables. And then, of course, the marshals and the Texas Rangers. But under the occupation code, we are considered police officers. The constables today, when I get elected, my last 3 elections have been a thing from the governor, which we are associate members of the DPS and the government code. The constables are commissioned by the governor of Texas and the Department of Public Safety and local police chiefs. The constables are given constitutional authority to enforce both civil and criminal laws. We swear and take an oath to uphold the laws of the state of Texas and the Constitution. The operation of the constable offices varies depending on the size of the county, because some of them they don't have time to do it, and the other ones are larger. I'll show you a slide here in just a minute that this is our job description. People say, can you write a ticket? This is it says serves civil warrants, civil papers, makes arrests, performs investigations. I mean, you can see it. We do the mental health. We are certified police officers. Most of us, there are 4 levels of certification: basic, intermediate, advanced, and a master's. And most of all of the constables' offices have no one less than an intermediate certificate. So they're very experienced officers in our county. Collin County, their duties or responsibilities, we do writs, we have execution, we do writs of attachment, we do all, as you can see, Class C misdemeanors. Constables and their deputies are official certified Texas police officers, because we hear it all the time. Well, you can't write me a ticket. You can't do that. You can't do that. Bad news, we can. Constables and their deputies must graduate from state certified law enforcement. All peace officers are trained for the state requirement. We have to have now, Uvalde shooting, we have 16 hours now required every other year. We have, I just sent 4 deputies to be certified to come back and teach the rest of our deputies in our county and other counties that can't afford to send them to the classes. We're going to do it for them. The constables have identical powers of arrest as county sheriffs and their deputies. And the very last there is weird. I didn't know we had this, but any county, contiguous county that Collin County touches, we have authority in that county. We can serve papers there. We can make arrests statewide, but we have the jurisdiction in these counties. So the sheriff works Collin County Sheriff in his office. We can work any of these others. We don't like going there, but if I'm serving him a paper and they say he lives right inside Hunt County, we can go up there and have jurisdiction there. We're fully empowered, statewide jurisdiction. We serve civil papers. Every constable's office is unified. They do the same thing. They do all these services. We serve civil process, criminal process. We take children from parents on DNA testing. We do writ of attachments and take people to the courts. We do writ of attachments for kids that don't go to school. And each one of them, and Constable Mark Herman in Harris County has over 400 deputies. He's one of the largest one in the state of Texas. And he has his own police force. He does traffic. He has his own jail, his own dispatch, and so forth. Some of the smaller counties unify the constables. Just for instance, Fannin County, their constable is the bailiff for their JP and their county court. It's in the same building. So I know that constable for a fact that he has more than one hat to wear. He does the county court and the JP's office. Justice of the peace, what do? They do truancy cases. We do all these listed here are 8 individual school districts that our precinct is in, and but not McKinney, but our judge, Miss O'Dine, handles all the truancy and all the summons and things that go out of the truancy-related cases. He does that. The justice claims over 20,000. They raised it a couple of years ago. It used to be 10,000. So if he and I have an accident and I have $19,000 worth of damage, I sue in the JP court instead of having to go to the district court. We do eviction cases and related. Most of these are, what happens is if I'm paying him rent and I quit paying rent, he has to go before the justice of the peace. He has to swear out an affidavit. Then he pays us to go serve me for not, and I come to court and I explain to the judge why I'm not making my payments. And the judge either rules that I need to be evicted or I don't. And then if they get an order, he has 5 days to appeal it. And then after the 6th day, then they come back to us. We get a writ of possession and we go out and evict someone from their home. We're the boogeyman. Nobody likes us. There's a process server in the state of Texas that can't serve process, but he cannot serve any papers that takes your personal property away or your personal rights. They can serve you papers, but they can't arrest you, and they can't do that. ALR is the administrative license review, which mostly related to DWIs. All go through the JP court. Examining trials for an upper court where they think they want to have an evidence trial. The justice of the peace hears that. And all citations within the county that doesn't have a municipal police department, such as these, DPS, North Texas Toll Authority, all of these listed here write tickets, and they go to the JP's office. So if they write it on the North Dallas Tollway, it goes to precinct 4. If they write it on Sam Rayburn, it's either going to go to 1 or 3. So these are the people that issue citations that we have warrants for, that people don't do that. And it's a pretty busy court. It's a very busy court. Mike Missildine was a constable prior to his experience. Now, we do issuance of bad checks. Hardly anybody doesn't do checks anymore. But Scott will tell you they come in and pay their taxes and they pay their car license with a check because they charge a surcharge on their credit card. The PDOs are personal delinquent orders, where if I go in there to Scott's office and I write a check and it bounces, then they contact them, then we contact them after they have no results. Then if they don't pay the past due amount of the check and the service charges that was charged to the county, we go out and take their tags off their car. So we have the right to do that, and that's what we do. And that's what the PDOs, and we're the only office in the county that does that. We do traffic warrants, peace bonds. There are very few peace bonds anymore. Peace bonds are peace bonds that were put up to where if he and I have I'm not picking on y'all now. If he and I have a dispute, they come before the judge and they get a peace bond to prevent him from doing any harm to me or my house or whatever. So that's what the peace bonds are for. The writ of attachments are for people and property, for people that don't do, they come from the court, contempt commitments and bond forfeitures. So as you can see, we stay pretty busy. The sheriff has a patrol deputy. The sheriff has a mental health deputy. The sheriff has 2 civil deputies. The sheriff has transport deputies. We wear all these hats. We do every one of these. Our civil deputies serve civil process out of all courts, county court, JP court, and the district court, and anything that comes from out of county. We get those papers. That's in our precinct. We do the patrol. I'm in the 920 Park Boulevard building. We have the JP's office, but there's a 900 building that has the county clerk's office, the WIC, the tax office, both juvenile and probation, adult probation office there. So we get calls over there quite a bit. So we're a patrol deputy as well. And as you read a while ago, when we go, we're in 15 different cities. Our precinct goes from the Addison Airport, anything that's Dallas, Richardson, Saxe, little 2 houses in Garland are in our precinct. When we go all the way to 121, all the way to Princeton. So going to and from, our deputies are considered a patrol deputy. If they need to transport someone, mental health deputies, our new process is, Judge Missildine is working with us. If they know where the guy is, we go get them. But if they don't know where the guy is, and mom and dad or somebody comes in and files a mental health deal, then we seal it up in an envelope and we take it to the local police agency and they serve it, because we don't have a deputy over the weekends. We don't work on the weekends because the state prevents us from serving papers on Sundays, so we don't work. We work 5 days a week. So we let the local Plano PD or Allen PD and let them do that. And then truancy, the bailiff in the court, every time the bailiff is in session, we have a dedicated bailiff that does that all the time. Tim Walker has been our bailiff since I've been there in 2011 as a deputy. And then the warrant deputies, they serve all the warrants inside that's issued to us. So these are some of the papers that we do. Civil citation is a notice that you've been sued. Criminal subpoenas, of course, come through criminal cases. Juvenile summons, show cause for parents for the juveniles, child support, forcibles. Forcibles are what we do when he and I is trying to evict me. I go out, we had over 4,000 of those. All of those apartments around here, we had returned what we call frequent flyers, because when I was 2011 and 12, I was evicting the same people from several different apartments. So these people know that. The writ of possessions, where we go out, and I know you pass down the road and you've seen the yard that's got all the stuff out in the front yard. We've evicted them. We don't do it. We're the referee. The person that has the land or the apartment complex, they move them out. We just supervise and make sure there's nobody gets in trouble. Protective orders and kick-out orders are things that, and I don't know why, but it happens on Friday afternoon, that one or the other goes before the judge, usually going through a divorce, and has a protective order, and we have a kick-out order. So what we do is we go to the house, knock on the door, tell them what we're doing, tell them you got 30 minutes to get a bag packed, because you have to go, because you've done something that someone has sworn an affidavit that you've done. So we let them pack a bag, and usually the court's like a week or 10 days down the road. They cannot come back to that residence while that protective order, kick-out order is in effect. And then orders of injunction, we do stuff like that. The writs, execution, that doesn't mean we kill them. That means it's just executing the writ. And what it is civil judgments, to where I have a civil judgment against me for $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000. And we get an order in, and we go out and we get that much amount of property that amount to what they've been sued over. And then we will sell it. And then orders of sale or personal property or real estate or property. You'd be surprised what we do in homeowner associations, that people don't pay their dues. They come up and get a lien, and they also file a claim on that deal, and we can sell them for back due homeowners association dues. The writ of attachments, we do those some. We just did interference with the child custody over the spring break, to where a man came, left his two or three kids here, and the wife wouldn't let him have it back. So we got a court order to go get the kids. So we do a writ of attachment for people. The writ of sequestration is basically a repossession. And so what we'll do is we'll go out and get the car, give the person the papers, and tell them this is what you need to do to get it back. Turnover orders are things that I've been sued, and I have like some heavy equipment, and the plaintiff knows that it's there, and they tell us where it's at. We go serve the people that have that property, and we go get a wrecker or get somebody to drive it or load it on a trailer and take it back and hold it till they have a hearing. The writ of order retrieval, this is new the last couple of 3 or 4 years. Retrieval is where there's about 8 or 9 things that you can get. Like if I get kicked out, mama kicks me out, and she changes the door locks. Then I've got my taxes in there that's due. I have my medication in there that's due, my clothes, things that I need. There's about 8 different specific items that you can get, that they can get a retrieval, and we go out there with them, knock on the door, and say, here, he has the right to go get that. So we do those. The writ of reentry is where my wife changes the door. We have an issue, and she changes the door locks and has the power turned off. We have a writ of reentry where we go and make this person, I probably wouldn't want to go back in there, but we make them go back. And they have the right to go back and have the power turned back on, the lock's not changed, until they do whatever they're gonna do, get a divorce and do whatever. Shoot. A large portion of our operating budget is we recover it. We charge $75 for some fees. We charge $175 for other fees. The things that are involved in could be someone that's when violence and stuff like that are normally $175. The other fees where he and I have a car wreck, I go out and serve the papers, or eviction or whatever, $75. So we recoup. If you imagine, we had almost 12,000 papers last year, and you take the average of 175, 75, and add those up, and you can pretty much determine that we're pretty much we don't pay for everything, but we get a lot of our fees and stuff that pay for our office. We have a $1.7 million budget in our office. We have 11 deputies and 3 reserves and 3 clerks. We're the largest of the 4 precincts. Constable-elect Kurtz is going to take, he's in precinct 2. He has 3 deputies, and the constable. The precinct 1 has 6 deputies, precinct 4 has 6 deputies. But because our land, we have probably about 400,000 of the 1.2 million people are in our precinct. So, and like I said, the fees are collected. They are collected through the JP and the county court and the district courts. So, if you have a question, jump up. This is, you probably can't tell, but there's 4 precincts here. We go down to Dallas, Richardson, Saxe, Murphy, Parker, 2 houses in Garland or in Collin County. We go all the way across the Lucas Branch Road, all the way up to Princeton, all the way up to 380 where the 3 is, and we come back down. All of that is in our precinct. We're in 15 different municipalities. And we have 8 different independent school districts in our precinct. I went before the governor and got, they had a grant, and I got some of these rifle rated ballistic shields, Sensu Valdi, where I tell our guys, if you are afraid to do what we have to do, if it comes time, you're in the wrong business. Because we're not going to allow kids to be killed and slaughtered while we're standing outside trying to figure out who's going. Every one of us have a shield and we're going. So I'm just going to tell you that's our promise. Now, I'm going to show you, I need to get to the volume before it gets going, because the deputy on this deal is, this is the guy that's been a hermit, been in this house. He's got electrical cords to his next door neighbors during the night, giving him power in his house. He doesn't pay electricity. He doesn't pay water. He goes and gets these big old jugs of water and brings it back. What it is the officer, the deputy goes up there and he's got a tax citation. He's not paid his taxes. And you'll hear him say, I'm with the CIA. He's not. This guy's mentally ill. And you'll see him bring a broomstick with a knife that's taped around this and comes at the deputy. He's bladed behind you can't see it. And you gotta understand, this deputy's holding some papers. And he's sitting there talking, we keep a distance, and this guy will come out and attack him. He had the right to kill him, but he didn't do it. But he has some choice words, and I don't want y'all to hear it. I can get it to play.
Hey, how are you, sir, buddy? Fine. Are you David Knapp?
Where's the volume? Because I need to get it to the
That work
volume.
for you? What, you arresting me? No.
Well, I don't want you to hear it.
Okay.
You have a warrant?
There, he drops the F-bomb.
I'm with the CIA.
See what he said, I'm with the CIA.
Well, these are tax paperwork. Is there a Virginia Neff also?
Before we go any further, where's the
I'm
volume?
thinking about that here.
No, I'm talking about on
Is there a Virginia here? No, she was murdered by the Plano police. Gotcha.
Usually if you
I'm not
tap
playing
on
up, so.
video, there should be a control of the video player.
I thought I had one, but I don't see it on mine.
Paused.
We're all salty.
Well, okay, I want to give you a disclaimer right now. The F-bomb was dropped, and it was by my deputy, and he was, you gotta understand, this is a very volatile situation, and he said it, and we talked to him about it, but I'm gonna let
It's in context.
We'll give him a waiver on that.
Let's fight for his life.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Better an F-bomb than a real bomb.
okay, you didn't say I'm the CIA.
Read David Knapp, why? Is that court paperwork for you? Will you arrest me? No. What's the court paper? Do you have a warrant? I'm with the CIA. Well, these are tax paperwork. Is there a Virginia Knapp also? I paid my taxes 10 years. Okay. Is there a Virginia here? No, she was murdered by the Plano police.
Which is a lie.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not Plano, so.
What's it?
Motherfucker.
Okay, he dropped the F-bomb. Okay, so the guy retreats him back inside. He had legal right to shoot the guy, and he didn't do it. And he had very restraint. He's a very senior officer, and he didn't do it. We went back and got a warrant for his arrest for aggravated assault on a police officer. And this next one you'll see is when we go in the back door, and we meet and greet at the back door. Now you got to understand, this guy has no power, nothing in his house. You'll see him. He's wearing one of these little lights up here that he doesn't.
On your face now! Do not move! You understand me?
Now this is the same guy that pulled that just you saw in the front door.
Do not move where you are. Do you understand me?
And these are constables?
Yes, there's our office. They do a great job. They asked about booby traps. We thought the guy might have booby traps in there, and he doesn't. But and you see all the clutter. Again, you see the little light in the back. That's the only light he's got, except the light on his head. Yes, sir.
Is he the owner or
He's the
squatter?
resident.
Oh, he
He's
is
a
the
resident.
owner.
Has not paid any taxes or anything. He just stealing electricity and getting water. And this is what this does. And I love it. This either makes you or breaks you. But he'll ask, what do you get me for? They told him he had another warrant. And then for our warrant for aggravated assault, they go through the house. We go through the house and clear it, make sure there's nobody else there. Because you got to understand there could be somebody else there. And they take him outside. And it's really funny when he goes down, it's right, the light's down in his face. He did what we told him to get down. We had another deal like this. I'm sure y'all probably heard about it. 4 or 5 years ago, went through Judge Bender's court. We had a guy that hadn't paid taxes in 11 years. He'd been filing all these claims and everything through deal, and we got him out. We had to use the SWAT to go in and finally get the guy out. But it's kind of silly, but I mean, it is. But he went to jail and for aggravated assault on a police officer. What he did, he should have. Rightfully so, he probably should be 6 foot under. Now this is a lady that's a mental health. That her mom and dad own this house and they're evicting her. We evict kids that mom and dad are allowed to leave there. And she's laying there, she won't get up.
That's a judge's order.
That is not a judge's order.
It is.
I'm not evict someone. Why would you evict someone from a... Something is wrong here. I've been molested, and you guys...
We asked her several times to get dressed.
Okay, wait, were you gonna get dressed?
No.
Okay.
And so they should have taken the blanket and wrapped her up, but they walked her outside and took her to jail because she had mental health issues. Now just listen to what she said.
Hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Don't resist. Hands behind your back.
What is wrong with you guys?
Hands behind your back.
She accuses
Don't ever cuff someone.
She
Don't
accuses
ever
him
cuff
of
someone.
molesting her.
You guys are cats. You guys have the cyber attack.
Let go of the handcuff.
I don't know where the cyber attack came from, but that's what she said.
Okay, you were already told.
No,
You
it's
had
my
plenty of
account.
opportunity. Stop.
You have a child molester harming me.
He didn't do anything, he just held her by
Do
the
you
arm.
hear yourself?
Sure.
Now, this guy here, he'd only been with us, he
Okay,
came
you want your mom to
from
put some pants on you before you
hospital,
go?
and he'd only been there about 6 months, and he'd never seen something like
No,
that.
I am about to resist.
No,
Who are you?
okay, please. Take a look at this. You got it, Mike?
Ow. Mom.
Her mom and dad are just seeing when she goes out,
Give
it's
you the opportunity
downstairs.
to put on pants. You wouldn't do it.
I'm bleeding now.
Sure.
Guys, some ladies, some people have described us as mailman with guns. As you can see, we're more than a mailman with a gun. Our life is just as dangerous on doing this as when I did Plano Police or Fort Worth or anybody else. And when she gets in the car, she's happy as she can be. She's smiling and giggling and carrying on.
I'm being molested. Actually, abused.
Probably like a jacket on the other side.
Molestation. I hate to say it, but there are actually secret service people trying to get rid of some of us.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So, and that, I guarantee you, when she said you're molesting me and all that, if we didn't have cameras, it's our word against hers. We got it right here, where they can very well see nothing happened.
All right, go ahead and have a seat.
And I feel sorry for the departments that don't have them,
It's actually illegal.
because they are,
You guys are breaking laws.
Have a seat.
What kind of seat? How do you not recognize that too?
she's happy now.
Scoot this way just a little bit. I got it.
All right, now this is a week, when we do these evictions, we go in, and these people, sometimes we hang a notice, we have a 48-hour notice, it's 24 legally, we give them at least a 48-hour notice. We go to their house and we post on the door that we're coming Tuesday at 8 a.m. Gives them plenty of time to move their stuff out. If they don't, we go. Some people think we're just blowhards and don't go. We show up, they forget we're coming and leave all their dope in there. So this is one of the pictures of one of the apartments. This is another, had bath salts, had THC oils, he had Xanax, all his little deals in here. We had 2 recovered stolen guns. So I'm telling you guys, our job is dangerous. What we do every day is not what people think we do. They think we just go and do nothing, but we do. Our job is dangerous. This is some of the dope, the marijuana that he had in his closet. Obviously, he's a dealer. This is more than a recreational use. And he forgot we were coming, and he didn't have time to sell it or get rid of it.
Selling all that stuff, he can pay his rent.
But you would have thought. But you know, what they do is they get money and they spend money on more dope, make more money. That's what they do. They don't pay the money. They don't pay the rent. But this is some of the marijuana. I want you to hear this. This was
I don't
done
think that many
in
people
80,
understand exactly what
85,
constables
86.
do,
This
or
is
how
a constant.
demanding and dangerous
What
the
he
jobs
says
can be.
then is still going on today.
Because when my constituents need their court orders enforced, I call the constables. Whether it is to collect debts for child support, evict tenants, prevent domestic violence, make arrests, or attach children from those whom are not supposed to have them, I know firsthand that our constables have all the necessary authority, training, and expertise necessary to ensure that court orders are effectively enforced.
It's always in the back of our minds when we serve protective orders that dozens of victims of domestic violence are killed every year in Travis County.
This happens to be.
We were given a protective order to run and locate an individual. Knocked on the door as he began to open the door. Man pushed open the door. He was reaching back for a drawer. Inside the drawer was a gun, along with 2.5 ounces of cocaine. After the arrest, we found out that the individual was on the top 15 most wanted list through APD.
while executing eviction in Pflugerville, entered the residence which appeared to be vacant. Constables noticed a female at the top of the stairs, start from the right side, pointed a .357 Magnum at me. I was able to talk to her, and after about an hour of negotiations, I worked my way up the stairs, was able to tackle her, or took the gun away from her.
Well, this is one of
the
those typical evictions. We got inside, we had this naked woman come at us, screaming and hollering to get out of her apartment. I took her back to her bedroom, told her she had to put some clothes on, and then she picked up the butcher knife that was in there. And that's when eviction stopped being normal.
There was a woman on Old Torque who had been struck by a vehicle in the middle of the intersection. I was the first on scene, was flagged down by concerned citizens there. She had been badly injured. I was able to block off traffic and call for EMS and keep her from getting hit by a vehicle.
I was on my way home in my market patrol car on Mopac, approximately near Anderson Lane, when I noticed a vehicle going southbound in the northbound lane. I was able to make a traffic stop on the vehicle. The driver was found to be intoxicated. He was taken to jail and booked in. While I was out at the scene, I was advised by an APD officer that he really appreciated my assistance on taking care of this problem, because within the next couple of minutes, this would have sure been a fatality accident on Mopac. So I probably saved someone's life by being able to take this DWI off the road that night.
I received a writ of attachment for 5 children. It was common knowledge by all law enforcement that this family is very dangerous. There was a meth lab there, and the grandfather put a 9mm gun to one of the caseworkers' head. We were able later to retrieve the children from the courthouse.
We were getting several complaints from the citizens and various churches in our community about the drugs and prostitution problem. We responded to their complaints, and as a result, we were able to make 15 arrests. We wrote 11 citations for prostitution and narcotics possession.
While on patrol, I observed a couple of juvenile males running back and forth across the street. A little leery because one of them had a sword. So as I stopped to interview him, I noticed a bulge in one of the juveniles' back belt pant area. Did a quick back down for officer safety, and the juvenile ended up with a 9mm pistol.
If the public really knew
The
what the
JPCA
constables did,
at the Capitol.
they would really have a different perspective on how we do our job. I mean, they just don't know. When the public says, well, all you do is this, and you're not really the police, well, do y'all carry guns, or can y'all write this, or can... The constables, as a whole, we have it tough because the elements are out there. I mean, the scene changes every day. It's never the same. You know, an awesome police officer can have the same 911 call 4 times in a row. If a constable's deputy have 4 written possessions in a row, it's not going to be the same. One is going to be a crack house. One is going to be a mental health person. One is going to be where you get there and the person's not going to want to come out. You just don't know. I mean, you just don't know. And it doesn't matter whether you're in uniform or out of uniform. The job is still the same.
All right. Are we mailman with a gun? No, we're not. And I'm not going to tell you who does it. I'll let you figure it out yourself. But we have been told that we're mailman with guns. We have the district attorney, we have one of the House of Representatives here, lawyers. We have to make contact with the person. We can't just give it to the next door neighbor to give it to them. The only one that we can is a forcible, which is telling him he's been evicted. If they're 16 years or older, we can give it to that person, but that's the only one that we can do. We have alternative service that if the judge that issues these, well, we can hang it on their door. Yes, sir.
You said that you collect judgments.
Yes, we sell houses and collect judgments for attorneys.
Can I tell you about it? I'm not an attorney, but I have one of the 2 licenses in the world from the Treasury of the United States. I'm the founder of the company that can do legal credit repair and credit education. I'm the leading expert in the courtroom on a credit situation in the United States. Recently, one of my clients who got screwed by the 3 credit bureaus over a debt he didn't owe, he sued the credit bureaus in JP court. Are you familiar with this one?
No.
Whistledown's court?
No.
Anyway, Experian up here in Allen defaulted the lawsuit. So the judge had a hearing, a trial over the default, and he awarded my client $20,167. We went to the court and filed for a writ. Your constable went to Allen and they wouldn't accept it, and he didn't collect the money.
Well, sometimes they have the property and the monies to settle, and sometimes they don't.
Well, Experian has the money to settle, I assure
Well, I understand that, but we're not the debt police. We don't go make somebody pay. We go to the house and we call it the call. We go out to the house and make demand. So if this person had $20,000, $40,000, we go and say, Sammy Knapp, I have a pay-per-view for a demand of $40,000. What do you want to point out that I can take?
Well, next, the constable brought it back and he met with the client, and he said that it had to be served to CT Corp in Dallas. But you couldn't serve it, it had to be served by a Dallas County constable. You just told us that you can serve
We can't.
Well, why didn't he serve it then?
I don't know.
It was one of your constables, I don't know the name.
I don't know. We only have 2 writ officers that do that. If
You want me to come by and look at it? I'm also one of the ranking veterans in this county.
If you'd like to come by the office, I'm
And
willing
I'm
to
a
talk to you.
radio talk show now being syndicated on 130 stations
Okay.
for an hour. I've done 17 years in Dallas.
Well, I don't know.
I've run 3 airlines in the United States. I'm an
Okay.
airline.
I appreciate that, but I'm telling you, I don't know what the circumstances were, but I can look into it.
I wish you
But
would.
if we go to make a demand, and they tell me they don't have the money, or if it's in another county, I don't know why they didn't go down there, but we have the jurisdiction to do that. I don't know if the deputy constable wanted them to do it, because they might be familiar with those folks. They may be a frequent flyer that they have dealt with before. I don't know. You're telling me something new.
Well, years ago, when Tom Kelly and Judge Payton were constables, I've had several lawsuits where I sued Bank of America for 10 grand when the limit was 10 instead of 20. And one of your constables and I went to Bank of America, and they couldn't write a check fast enough. Also, I sent your guys to another place one time years ago, and they collected the money and they threatened to foreclose the property and sell it. You guys need to be able to do that
And we
too.
will do that. And we sell them on the courtroom, or on the court office up there every first Tuesday of the month. And we sell them up there. And come see me, I'll leave you one of my cards. You're welcome to come by my
I'll get
office
you
and we
one
can
of
talk.
mine.
We can do that. Is anybody else? Yes, sir.
One thing you said early on about evictions and you always being the bad guy, I would just comment on that. My girlfriend owns a few rental properties, and she's had real financial hardship when non-cooperative, non-paying tenants refuse to go. You're not the bad guy when you're helping somebody get the problem out so they can fix their property.
And I appreciate you saying that. We're kind of like the referee at the basketball game.
Yeah.
The one we called the foul on, they're mad. The one we didn't call the foul on, we should. So we're the boogeyman. We come out and we keep the peace. The COVID back then, nobody was removed from their homes, and all those people that own houses and apartments didn't get any money.
Absolutely.
And it was a terrible situation.
And
and I pay my bills, but we all fall on bad, hard times. And it does happen.
And I sympathize, and she sympathized, but I'm glad to have professionals who can go do that, so she's not looking at me to go do that, because I wouldn't want to have to.
Let us do it. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Who, with the constables group and other law enforcement groups, who is ultimately watching capacity and assignment for all of the things that could...
The papers and all the stuff that comes in? nobody has, she being an attorney, we can't tell what court to send them to where. We normally send them to the precincts that the affected people are in, like subpoenas and stuff like that. We get truancies out in McKinney and we go up there. It's not our precinct, but we do it. But there's no, if they send us papers, we serve them. And so we have no quota, we can't, they don't have, there's not a person that's a coordinator that says this one goes there, he gets this many, he gets that many.
But you have some coordination with sheriff's departments and...
They have 2 deputies that they serve civil papers, and they sell homes on foreclosures, but they don't kick people out of houses and things like we do.
Okay.
They only have the civil process side of it. I think he has, I'll get to you. Yes, sir.
You will have to pardon my ignorance if I ask you something that's probably out of line. Before you spoke here today, I used to think there are only 2 law enforcement organizations at county level: the city police, and the police chief of police reports to the city manager or the mayor, and then there is a sheriff. But what you seems to be telling me that the constable is independent body for law enforcement.
We're the civil police.
Civil police.
Yes.
Now, who do you report to? I know you selected
The voters.
position. Huh?
The voters voted me in. I answer to them. They are my boss. If they don't like what we do, they vote me out.
But they have to wait for 4 years.
It's a 4-year term, that's correct.
Like police, if the chief of police is not doing the work,
He
he reports to the city manager or the mayor.
That's correct.
Similarly, the sheriff reports to
the citizens.
Well, he reports to, like Jim Skinner tells me, he reports to somebody in Austin, you know.
I don't know where. He's elected by Collin County.
Collin County, but
that's his boss.
Or rather, he reports to the county judge.
No. When somebody, let's say somebody comes in and said, Sammy did something to me, and they go to Chris Hill. Chris Hill has no authority.
Yeah.
He can't do a complaint on me. The Texas Rangers can, if I've done something, but the judge or the 4 commissioners can't.
So if you do something wrong to me, and I'm an independent person, I really have to mobilize the county level people next time comes election to get you out.
That's exactly right.
Which is not really the case in case, you know, for police, of course, it goes through the city, and the sheriff is...
If I don't do my job, or I do something that violates the law, the district court is the one that can kick me out of office, and the voters.
District court, okay.
The district court is who has the authority to remove us from office. Yes.
In cases where you have to sell a house and there's leftover money, what happens to that? Is that given back to the owner of the house?
What do you mean leftover money?
So the house is $400,000. They owe, let's say, $10,000. The house is sold, and $10,000 is given to the homeowners association. What's going to happen to the rest?
The people that bid on the house own the house.
But they paid $400,000, so the $300.
They pay the back taxes and then they buy the house, and they assume all the taxes that go with that house. Any lien that's on it, they're responsible for it, and they own it.
How about the equity that the homeowner has?
They should have paid.
Sammy, I think I can answer that.
Okay.
If it's like a tax sale, say they owe $200,000 in taxes, and the house sells for $400,000. Once all the liens are paid, that goes back to the property owner that sold the house.
Okay, so the property owner won't lose.
Right, unless they can't find the property owner or their heir. And every once in a while we'll have that situation, and then it becomes unclaimed property, and it's reported to the state, and eventually someone could claim it.
Okay, thank you.
Just going to ask, you mentioned that as the larger counties with greater population do have more than the 4, like what Collin County has. Do you anticipate Collin County and the Commissioners Court, I guess, is that who would be the ones?
I think as we get bigger, but if you look forward, it's Bexar County, Travis County, Harris County, Dallas County, which they're more spread out, and instead of me going all the way to Princeton, one day we're going to get more, but it's up to the commissioners and them to determine who if they get bigger.
But they might add another precinct.
They could. They can. Some of them go up to 8 precincts.
So the county commissioners determine the number?
Yes, they can do that. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there, I don't know if you've seen, there's like a video that was going viral the last couple of days. I think it was in New York about this woman who got arrested for trying to get some squatters out of her house. And I mean, it's an interesting story. This guy broke into her house while it was vacant, changed the locks. She had the police come and he couldn't prove that he lived there, so the police made him leave, and she went and changed the locks again. And then the guy came back and called the police because she changed the locks and said he lived there. And he had like some kind of bill for some work he hired someone to do, supposedly, and that was his proof that he lived there. And so then they arrested her for changing the locks on a tenant. So like, I'm sure it's way better here, and we probably have way better laws here than in New York where that happened. But like, what do you do to like, I know you can't just evict somebody, there's a process, but like, this guy didn't even really live there.
The rightful owner that owns that has to do the eviction just like if I was going to evict you out of my house. And if I let my son come from college and he doesn't pay his rent, we label his door A, and I go to the JP and I have him removed from door A, room A, and we go out with him. And so that's what they're going to have to do up there in the yard.
So, I mean, like, what's, this guy be like a minimum? Did he end up like a lease or?
He's got to prove ownership.
There was a similar case in Dallas as well where they produced a lease that was not, it was a falsified lease. And I think maybe it's where do you discern who has the right to be?
Well, I'll tell you this, when I was a deputy back in 2011, I went and we hung the paper on the door, the guy living there. He was an owner financing, you were the owner. I'm paying you monthly payments, I'm paying mine, you're not paying yours. They foreclose on you, he's living there, he just put a swimming pool in and put a fence up. We had to do it. And I hated to do it, but we had to do it. We had a court order from the judge to do it.
And I think it's important to understand that typically Sammy is going to be executing orders from a judge, okay? And so it's not going to be a situation where you got police officers hearing somebody's story. He gets an order from the judge, he goes
and that's what we tell people. It's not me. I got an order from a judge, either a county judge or a district judge, that says this is done, and we serve the order. If I don't do it, I go to jail, and I'm not going to jail for you or anybody else. Okay, Representative Noble.
Well, I want to brag on y'all because we had a constable reach out to us that they were having to evict a 70-plus-year-old woman out of an extended stay where she had overstayed to the tune of about $40,000 during COVID and beyond. And she was in wheelchair bound, and legally y'all could have just put her on the street. And y'all worked with our office to find a spot for her, and we worked with the Veterans Association to give her transportation for her belongings. And so it's not always just that they put people out. Sometimes they go the extra mile to make sure that people have the place they need to be. And I'm really proud of y'all for that.
And I appreciate that, Representative, but we don't wake up today and say, man, I want to kick 6 people out of their houses today. That's not what we do. We hate doing that. But we get an order to do it and we do our job. And we try to do it as professional as we can. Sometimes, like this gentleman over here, things don't mesh and somebody said something, he said, she said, we're going to get to the bottom of it, find out what happened. Okay? So, anybody else have a question?
Sammy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So now I guess we'll have our introduction of office holders and candidates. Anybody that wants to parade here?
Speak on behalf of one of the
I
candidates.
say the ladies first, but it's modern world, so Scott's gonna go first. About 2 minutes. Go right ahead.
My name is Scott Grigg, and I want to first of all thank everybody here that supported me. I'm happy to say that even in a 3-person race, I was able to win above the 50% mark, and I am not in a runoff, thankfully. So, first of all, thank you for that. I'm very proud of the campaign we ran. It was very positive. We stayed above board. I didn't have to lie about my experience. I didn't have to lie about my opponents. And the voters saw that. and almost over a 30-point victory from my nearest competitor. So thank you all for that. I appreciate that, and I look forward to serving you. I do have an opponent in the fall, but I know with my team and the way I work, we're going to beat that person in the fall, and I look forward to serving you as your next tax collector here in Collin County.
Hi, y'all. I swam over here from Building Corridors Board meeting. I'm Candy Noble, and I'm honored to serve you in the Texas House for House District 89. And I, too, have a Democrat in the fall and look forward to you helping me once again serve you in Austin. Thank you. Can I say one thing? Of course you can. I forgot. Did y'all meet Adam? Adam is my district director, so y'all need to get to know him. He's pretty new.
Good evening. My name is Gary Carey, and I am Shelby Williams' campaign manager. He asked me to stop in and thank all of you for the support you've given him so far. He's a little disappointed. We're 205 votes away from avoiding the runoff because he's really eager to get to work and start to move our party ahead. We've got some important elections here that the Republicans are going to need all of our support to win. We come to the fall, so he was eager to get to work, but instead we're back campaigning. So we got almost 50% of the vote, again, 205 short. I guess actually they found a couple votes recently, and Ellie got a few, and he got a few as well. So anyway, I appreciate your continued support. He also, I think he's excited because every day I think he's getting a call from more people as they see his plan and go, you know what, we're going to get behind you. So anyway, thanks, and thanks, Sammy. Great.
Hey folks, I'm here on behalf of Carissa Richardson. So she's running for House District 61 against Frederick Frazier. If you don't know the story that's going on there, she's a true conservative that's running there. So we're trying to unseat an incumbent, someone that has done a lot of things that we're not proud of. And so she needs your support. If you live in the area, a lot of the true conservatives did not win this go around. She is endorsed by Ken Paxton. She's endorsed by Mike Lindell. Ken was just down there in Mar-a-Lago, and he's trying to get Trump to endorse her as well. So that's something that might happen hopefully soon. So we just hope to get your guys' support. They're out spending us like crazy, guys. They're liberal, they're holding fundraisers for Dave Phelan and these people. So if you have anything to give, we need support. We need your prayers. We need people out there to know what's actually going on down there in Austin. So watch Texas Heist, and we'll get you guys' support.
Hi everybody, my name is Kim Lassiter. I am in a runoff for the 401st District Court, so you can vote for me again on May 28th. I want to start by saying thank you to Constable Knapp. The last murder case that I tried, one of our elected constables showed up by himself with no backup to the scene of a murder. He did it without backup. He checked on the deceased. He secured the scene. And so when you say that you're doing dangerous things and you're doing things that are assigned and are not assigned, that's absolutely true. So thank you for what you do. There's really no substitute for depth and quality of experience in this race. David Neff, I recognize that guy. He's actually still awaiting competency restoration. The 401st is a district court. It is a trial court, which is really important. 61% of the cases in that court are criminal cases. For 17 years, I was a prosecutor in 2 different counties. I was a chief level prosecutor where I tried more than 100 serious cases. I handled thousands of cases, and I supervised many, many prosecutors, dozens of prosecutors who handled over 10,000 cases. I have developed programs. I have trained prosecutors and law enforcement statewide, and I ask for your support on May 28th. This is an important race. Thank you.
Well, I'm your newly elected county chair for the next 90 days or thereabouts. And Gary, I want to tell you, if Shelby had got the other 205 votes, it would have made my life a lot easier.
I'm Constable Precinct 2 elect from the Wayne Church. I just want to say thank you for everybody supporting me here. And Constable Knapp, thanks for the presentation.
course, I'm Sammy Knapp. I'm up for my 4th term. I was not opposed in the primary. I am opposed in the general. And we all need to rally, get beyond the May and everything that's happened, and go as a team, Republicans, and serve our state and our city and our county. And I hope we can do that. And thank you very much for your support.
Real quick, I actually got a call on my way down here. Joel Petrazio is also running for the 401st. I don't know his stats the way he does, so I'm not even gonna, I know he's been here over 28 years. I would encourage you to research, just like I told people in my race, research the candidates, make sure you're educated when you go vote.
And go to the bottom of the ballot. The bottom of the ballot, because the constables are right ahead of the GOP chairman.
Thank you, Sammy.
So go to the bottom of the ballot.
Yeah, now Sammy and I'll be preaching that all the way through November. Go to the bottom of the ballot.
I'm going to say it every time you see me. Go to the bottom. We're bottom feeders.
Start at the bottom and work up.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks very much, office holders and candidates. Now we'll move to exciting, most exciting. The presentation was really exciting. It was a really great video. You guys really do a great job. I don't know if I can hold it down the way they did, but we'll do the door prize now. All of your red tickets could be worth
ticket, raise your hands.
millions of dollars. Could be worth millions.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Sir. Oh, here's one more.
Here's mine.
Anyone else?
I'll give you a call.
All right, get your tickets ready. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
8905374.
74.
5374.
Gone home.
You got it?
All
All
right.
Sorry, internet not worth a million. That's certainly worth a good meal out.
Dwight and I had 364.
That's not all bad.
So next month, our meeting will be April 18th. We'll have another great speaker again. And with that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very much for coming.
Yes, sir. You and I talked about this a couple of months ago.
And then we have football and baseball games.
My first stint in the area, I actually
I'll tell you everything that I can.
No, sir, running for district judge, Ken, last year, yes. It's Owen County wide.
Thanks for the barbecue.
Oh,
you're very welcome.
No, I'm a solo practitioner right now. There are 7, yes, sir. Owen County, in McKinney, office on McKinney. All different kinds, so mostly criminal, but probate, guardianship, civil, and some family law. Okay, and you, do you want to tell them? I'll give you mine too.
Yeah.
Did you get that interview? It's me, that's my personal cell.
Yeah.
Oh, man.